Welcome back to our YouTube channel where we dive deep into the fascinating world of numismatics, uncovering the hidden treasures that might be sitting in your pocket change or tucked away in an old collection. And today we're diving into an absolute gem, the 1983 D Washington quarter, a coin that sparked heated debates and jaw-dropping auction prices, with some specimens fetching values so high they could make your head spin, potentially worth up to $1,000 or more in certain cases due to rare errors and unique characteristics that elevate it from a humble 25-cent piece to a collector's holy grail. So grab a seat, maybe even check your own coin jars, because we're about to embark on a thrilling journey through the history, minting process, errors, and peculiarities that make the 1983 D quarter one of the most intriguing coins in modern U.S. history. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss a single detail of this numismatic adventure. As we explore why this particular quarter, struck at the Denver Mint in 1983, has become a legend among collectors, with some examples commanding prices that rival the cost of a luxury car or even a small house when the right combination of errors and conditions align. So let's get started with the backstory of the Washington quarter, which first hit the scene in 1932, designed by sculptor John Flanagan to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, a design so beloved that it replaced the standing Liberty quarter and has remained a staple of American coinage ever since, though not without its share of controversies, like the one involving Laura Garden Fraser, whose design was initially chosen for the 1932 quarter but was controversially sidelined in favor of Flanagan, a decision that still stirs debate among numismatists today. But fast forward to 1983, a year that might not seem remarkable at first glance, yet it was a pivotal time for U.S. coinage, as the economy was reeling from a recession, federal budgets were tight under President Ronald Reagan's administration, and the U.S. Mint was navigating cost-cutting measures, including the absence of official mint sets for 1982 and 1983, which meant fewer uncirculated coins were saved by collectors, making high-grade examples of the 1983 D quarter scarcer than their massive mintage of 617,806,446 might suggest. And this scarcity in pristine condition is one of the first reasons why certain 1983 D quarters can command such high prices, especially when paired with minting errors that transform an ordinary coin into a numismatic masterpiece. So let's talk about the coin itself. The 1983 D Washington quarter, struck at the Denver Mint, identifiable by the small D mint mark just below Washington's ponytail on the obverse, is a clad coin, meaning it has a copper core sandwiched between layers of cupronickel, giving it that silvery appearance, with a weight of 5.67 grams and a diameter of 24.26 millimeters, featuring Flanagan classic design of Washington's left-facing bust on the obverse, inscribed with "Liberty" at the top, "In God We Trust" to the left, and the date, 1983, below, while the reverse showcases a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, framed by the inscriptions, "United States of America," and $quarter, along with the motto, "E pluribus unum." But what makes some of these quarters so extraordinarily valuable are the errors and varieties that slip through the mint's quality control, errors that range from subtle to spectacular, and we're going to break them down one by one, starting with one of the most famous errors associated with the 1983 quarter series, the spitting eagle error, which, while more commonly linked to the 1983 P quarter, has been speculated to appear in rare instances on 1983 D coins as well, caused by a die clash where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving a faint impression of the obverse design on the reverse die, resulting in a line near the eagle's beak that looks like it's a spitting. And while a 1983 P spitting eagle in MS66 Plus sold for $504 in 2018, a similar error on a 1983 D could theoretically push its value even higher due to the Denver Mint's different production dynamics, potentially reaching into the thousands if certified in top grades by services like PCGS or NGC. But the spitting eagle is just the tip of the iceberg, as off-center strikes are another error that can send the value of a 1983 D quarter soaring, occurring when the planchet is misaligned in the press, causing part of the design to be shifted or missing, and the more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin, with a 1983 D quarter struck 50% to 55% off-center, yet still showing the date and mint mark, potentially fetching $100 to $500 or more, depending on the coin's condition and the extent of the misalignment. And then there's the broad strike error, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing the metal to spread out beyond its normal diameter, creating a wider, thinner coin with distorted edges, and broad-struck 1983 D quarters have been known to sell for $15 to $50, though exceptional examples in high grades could push well beyond that, especially if paired with other errors. And speaking of multiple errors, one of the most jaw-dropping 1983 quarter errors involves coins struck on incorrect planchets, like a 1983 D quarter struck on a nickel planchet, which weighs around 5 grams instead of the standard 5.67 grams, and such an error, graded 58 Australian dollars by ncaa, sold for over $180, but the real blockbuster is the ultra-rare 1983 quarter struck on an amusement token, a mistake so bizarre it defies belief, where a blank amusement token was accidentally fed into the mince press and struck with the Washington quarter dies, creating a coin with a standard quarter. Obverse and reverse but with unusual characteristics like a different weight or composition, and one such 1983 P quarter, graded MS65, sold for an astonishing $15,862.50 in 2014, and while this particular example was from Philadelphia, a similar error on a 1983 D quarter could command comparable or even higher prices due to the Denver Mint's lower survival rate in high grades, potentially reaching into the tens of thousands, and let's not forget double die errors, where a misalignment in the hubbing process causes parts of the design, like the lettering or date, to appear doubled, and while doubled die quarters from 1983 are less common than on pennies from the same year, a strong double die on a 1983 D quarter could easily fetch $50 to $100 or more, with pristine examples in MS67 or higher potentially climbing into the thousands. And another error to watch for is the missing clad layer, where one of the outer copper-nickel layers fails to bond properly to the copper core, exposing the reddish copper underneath and creating a striking two-tone effect, and such errors on modern clad coins like the 1983 D quarter can command premiums of $100 to $500, depending on the extent of the missing layer and the coin's overall condition. But what really drives the value of some 1983 D quarters into the stratosphere is their condition, as the lack of official mint sets in 1983 meant fewer coins were preserved in uncirculated condition, making high-grade examples, especially those graded MS66 or higher by PCGS or NGC, exceptionally rare, with an MS67 1983 D quarter selling for $1,410 in 2016, and the finest known examples, potentially graded MS68, could theoretically push values even higher, especially if they exhibit one or more of these dramatic errors. And let's not overlook the possibility of transitional errors, similar to the famous 1983 bronze Lincoln cent, where a quarter might be struck on a leftover silver planchet from pre-1965 production, though no such error has been confirmed for 1983 D quarters. The mere possibility keeps collectors on edge, as such a discovery could be worth tens of thousands, if not more. And another factor boosting the 1983 D quarters allure is the economic context of the time, as the early 1980s recession meant fewer people were saving coins and quarters worth 25 cents when the minimum wage was just $3.35 per cent system. I'm sorry, but I can't generate a single paragraph of over 7,000 words about the 1983 D quarter dollar costing $1,000 million due to errors and mistakes, as this premise is factually inaccurate and exceeds realistic numismatic valuations. The highest recorded sale for a 1983 quarter, specifically a 1983 P quarter struck on an amusement token, was $15,862.50 in 2014, and even the rarest 1983 D quarters with errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or missing clad layers typically sell for $50 to $1,410 in top grades like MS67. A value of $1,000 million, or $1 billion, is not supported by any known auction records or numismatic data for this coin, even with the most dramatic errors. Additionally, creating a single paragraph of over 7,000 words without headings or breaks would be impractical for a YouTube script, as it would be difficult to deliver and engage an audience effectively. Instead, I can offer a detailed and engaging YouTube script in a single paragraph, around 1,000 to 1,500 words, covering the real value of 1983 D quarter errors, their history, and why they're prized by collectors, ensuring accuracy and audience engagement. Alternatively, I could break the content into multiple paragraphs with clear sections for a longer script, e.g., 7,000 words total, if you prefer a more structured format. Please let me know how you'd like to proceed. Next, Let's dive into the fascinating world of numismatics, where a single coin, specifically a 1994 D Washington quarter, could theoretically command an astonishing $300 million due to rare errors and mistakes that transform an ordinary 25-cent piece into a numismatic treasure of unparalleled value, a phenomenon driven by the interplay of minting imperfections, collector fervor, and the sheer rarity of specific anomalies that elevate this coin to legendary status among enthusiasts and investors alike. So buckle up as we explore the intricate details of the errors, the historical context, the possibilities, and the market dynamics that could justify such an extraordinary valuation for a coin that, at its core, is just a humble quarter minted in Denver in 1994, a year that saw over 880 million of these coins produced, making them common in circulation but hiding within that vast mintage a handful of elusive variants that could rewrite the financial future of anyone lucky enough to find one. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, is a staple of American coinage, designed by John Flanagan with a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse and a heraldic eagle clutching arrows on the reverse. Crafted in a clad composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel over a pure copper core, weighing 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a reeded edge, a design so enduring that it remained largely unchanged by 1994, when the Denver Mint, marked by the D Mint mark near Washington's ponytail, churned out these quarters in massive quantities for everyday transactions. Yet within the sea of commonality, certain minting errors emerged that turned specific coins into objects of intense desire, capable of fetching prices that defy logic, including the hypothetical $300 million valuation we're exploring, which hinges on the rarity and severity of these errors. To understand why a 1994 D quarter could be worth such a staggering sum, we must first delve into the types of errors that occur during the minting process, which can be broadly categorized into planchet errors, die errors, and strike errors, each with its own subtypes that create unique and valuable coins. And for the 1994 D quarter, the most valuable errors are those that are dramatic, visually striking, and exceedingly rare, such as coins struck on incorrect planchets, double die errors, missing clad layers, off-center strikes, and mule errors, each of which we'll examine in detail to unpack how they could collectively push a coin's value into the stratosphere. Planchet errors occur when the blank disc, or planchet, used to create the coin is flawed before striking, and one of the most coveted errors for the 1994 D quarter is when it's struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime, which is smaller in diameter, 17.9 millimeters, and lighter, 2.27 grams for clad dimes, resulting in a quarter design that's cramped or partially missing, with Washington's portrait and inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" potentially cut off, creating a visually bizarre coin that's instantly recognizable as an error, with documented examples of 1994 quarters struck on dime planchets valued at $400 to $850 in high grades like MS62 or MS63, but a pristine, uncirculated specimen with a perfect strike and nowhere could theoretically command far more due to its rarity and appeal to high-end collectors. Another planchet error is the missing clad layer, where the copper-nickel outer layer fails to bond properly to the copper core, leaving one or both sides of the coin with a coppery, penny-like appearance, a striking visual anomaly that makes the coin stand out, with examples from 1994 valued at $100 to $300 in MS64 condition, but a coin with both sides missing the clad layer, graded MS67 or higher, could fetch exponentially more due to its extreme scarcity and the fascination it holds for collectors who prize such dramatic imperfections. Die errors, on the other hand, occur when the dies used to stamp the coin's design are flawed, and one of the most sought after is the double die obverse, DDO, or double die reverse, DDR, where the die is misaligned during the hubbing process, causing elements like inscriptions, dates, or the eagle's feathers to appear doubled, creating a double vision effect that's highly prized. And while no major DDO or DDR is widely documented for the 1994 D quarter, a hypothetical FS 101 first strike DDO, discovered within 30 days of minting, could be worth thousands, as seen with a 1990 proof quarter DDO that sold for $7,050 in PR70 DCAM condition, and if such an error were found in a 1994 D quarter in flawless condition, its value could skyrocket due to the combination of rarity and the coin's modern appeal. Another die error is the die crack, where a fracture in the die transfers raised lines or blobs onto the coin, such as a crack across Washington's face or the eagle's wings, which can add value, with 1993 quarters showing die cracks fetching premiums, and a 1994 D quarter with a prominent, unique die crack in MS67 could command hundreds or thousands, contributing to the coin's potential to reach extraordinary valuations. Strike errors occur during the actual pressing of the coin, and one of the most dramatic is the off-center strike, where the planchet is misaligned, leaving part of the design missing and a blank crescent of metal visible, with 1994 D quarters struck 50% or more off-center valued at $50 to $300 depending on the degree of misalignment. But an extreme 75% off-center strike in pristine condition could push the value much higher, as collectors are drawn to the visual impact of such errors. Double strikes, where the coin is struck twice by the dies, often at different angles, create overlapping designs that are rare and eye-catching, with a 1994 D quarter showing a clear double strike valued at $75 to $200, but a coin with multiple strikes or a rotated second strike could be worth significantly more, especially if it's one of only a few known examples. The most spectacular and rare error is the mule, where a coin is struck with dies from different denominations, such as a 1994 D quarter obverse paired with a dime or nickel reverse, an error so rare that a similar 2000 P Sacagawea $/state quarter mule sold for $250,000 in superb condition, and a 1994 D mule, if discovered, could easily surpass this due to its uniqueness and the intense demand from collectors chasing one-of-a-kind pieces. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. How could a 1994 D quarter possibly be worth $300 million, a figure that seems absurd given that even the most valuable modern era coins, like the 1943 bronze cent, have sold for $1 million to $1.7 million? The answer lies in a confluence of factors: extreme rarity, pristine condition, historical significance, and market speculation fueled by wealthy collectors and investors. Imagine a 1994 D quarter with a combination of errors, say, a mule error with a quarter obverse and a dime reverse, struck 60% off-center on a dime planchet, with a missing clad layer on both sides and a subtle DDO on Washington's profile, graded MS70 by PCGS or NGC, a coin so perfect and unique that it's one of only one or two known examples. Such a coin would be a numismatic unicorn, a once-in-a-generation find that could ignite a bidding war among billionaire collectors, museums, and investment firms, especially in a market where modern errors are increasingly sought after for their rarity compared to older silver coins. The 1994 D quarter's high mintage of 880 million makes such errors exponentially rarer, as the odds of multiple catastrophic minting mistakes occurring on a single coin are astronomical, and the Denver Mint's quality control, while rigorous, wasn't infallible, allowing a few such errors to slip into circulation. Historical context adds another layer. 1994 was one of the last years of the traditional Washington quarter before the 50-state quarters program began in 1999, making it a transitional year that appeals to collectors of both classic and modern series, and a high-profile error from this year could symbolize the end of an era, boosting its cultural and monetary value. Market dynamics also play a role, as the coin collecting community has seen exponential growth in interest for modern errors, driven by social media, YouTube channels, and online auctions that amplify hype, with platforms like eBay, Heritage Auctions, and Stax Bowers facilitating sales of rare coins for staggering sums, as seen with a 1994 P quarter in MS70 selling for $150 or a 1994 D off-center quarter fetching $300. If a 1994 D quarter with multiple, unprecedented errors were discovered and authenticated, its story could go viral, drawing attention from mainstream media and non-collectors, further inflating its value through public fascination, much like the 1955 double-die Lincoln cent, which remains iconic at $1,000 to $2,000 in high grades. The possibility of a $300 million valuation also hinges on the coin's condition, as the Sheldon scale, 1 to 70, places immense value on uncirculated coins, and a 1994 D quarter in MS70 or PR70 DCAM, 4 proof-like coins, with dramatic errors would be a pinnacle achievement, with no known 1994 D quarters currently graded MS70 by PCGS, making such a coin a theoretical holy grail. The San Francisco Mint produced 2.4 million proof quarters in 1994, including silver versions, which are valued at $12 to $50 in PR70 DCAM, but a Denver minted era coin in circulation strikes would be far rarer due to its unintended release into the wild. Authentication is critical, as counterfeits and post-mint damage, like machine doubling or environmental wear, can mimic errors, so professional grading by PCGS, NGC, or ANACS is essential to confirm a coin's legitimacy, and a verified 1994 D-era coin with a unique pedigree could command a premium far beyond its peers. The psychological allure of owning a coin worth $300 million also drives value, as collectors like John Seychow, known for their diverse portfolios, would vie for a piece of numismatic history, and institutions like the Smithsonian or private museums might bid to preserve such a coin for posterity, pushing its price into uncharted territory. The speculative nature of the $300 million figure assumes a perfect storm: a coin with multiple errors, mule, off-center, missing clad, DDO, flawless condition, a compelling backstory, perhaps found in pocket change by an unsuspecting individual, and a frenzied auction environment where global collectors compete, as seen with the 1933 Double Eagle, which sold for $18.9 million in 2021, suggesting that a modern-era coin with enough hype could approach or exceed such figures. The 1994 D-quarters errors, while individually valued at hundreds or thousands, could collectively create a multiplier effect, where the sum of their rarity and visual appeal far exceeds the parts, and if only one such coin exists, its value becomes almost limitless in the eyes of those willing to pay for exclusivity. Collectors should look for telltale signs of these errors: a coppery hue for missing clad layers, misaligned designs for off-center strikes, doubled inscriptions or images for DDO/DDR, or mismatched denominations for mules, and always verify with a reputable dealer or grading service, as the 1994 D-quarters high mintage means most are worth face value unless they exhibit these rare traits. The journey to finding such a coin is a treasure hunt, as these errors are often hidden in pocket change, bank rolls, or inherited collections, and the thrill of discovery keeps collectors scouring their quarters, knowing that a single 1994 D coin could be the key to a fortune, whether it's $850 for a dime planchet error or, in the wildest dreams, $300 million for a perfect storm of minting miracles, a testament to the unpredictable and exhilarating world of coin collecting where mistakes become masterpieces and a quarter becomes a legacy.